Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the furnace. And I hate to really say back because I don't believe that true truth seekers ever really leave, right? We always here mentally trying to grow. So, but I definitely appreciate us connecting again, coming together again. This opportunity is a blessing. This opportunity is precious. You know, I cherish it. I hope you come to cherish it as we connect, as we grow, and we build. So last episode, we identified, we related, and we connected. You know, it got hot. We talked about some different subjects. Talked about some real subjects. Subjects that definitely enter our atmosphere every day and change the scope and how we move every day and how we act personally with the world we're in, how things that separate us. Um, we got a little deep here and there. Hope I didn't lose anyone. I definitely can sometimes go down my own little bit of a rabbit hole, but I'm always just trying to give you the most, and it's hard when I feel like I got something more to give or another way to elaborate it that someone that maybe didn't get it this way can grab it, because I really just believe in, just like I said, us growing and being able to see these things from different angles to give us the best opportunities. But with that, man, it's episode 2. So what it do? We're back in it. We're here again. And this one is titled Reality, Illusion, and In Between. We're going to get on some different subjects, hot topics, today's topics, things kind of going on in the world, um, that I think we all have, we all have an opinion on, we all have a thought on, and we definitely have a perspective on. So, if not one, of our own. So, a perspective in which we um, have come to have, right? Just because of the way things are and are going. But hey, we right here. But I do want to say something before we get too far in it. Please leave a like, subscribe, share. If you have the opportunity, to be a part of this blessing, it's one of those gifts that keeps giving. Just keep passing it along, because the more of us here, the more the army grows of people of change. That's when we can have our biggest impacts. That's when we can make the changes in the world, starting from us as individuals into our homes and abroad, right? So, definitely subscribe, like, and share. But hey, I'm your host here, King Alba, ready to do it again. So let's get into it, and let's vibe like native tribes and get back to our roots and the core of humanity, and hopefully back to some divinity. So, I'm gonna open it up, and I think everybody. Let me take these off because it's time to get real. Funny games are over, right? It was cool, man. I had to get cool for a second. You know what I mean? Uh, but now big, big, big things and that are happening in the world, and I think one of them we all can definitely have some feelings towards. And so I want to open it up. And this is with Trump. Let's throw him in the fire. We got to put him in the fire. We got to put him in the fire. Because we're cooking, right? We cooking and we're purifying. And I think we all going through this life change. We're all going through these different things. And honestly, this specific person has a lot to do with what we're doing and dealing with in the world, right? Especially as of today. So my first question, my first question as we open up episode 2 is, and don't forget, y'all. I just want to say this too before I keep going. I really would love to hear how you feel. I really would love to know what you think, and I can't wait to get to a place where we can live stream, and that's something that I'm doing, and I can kind of connect with you on the go. But I really want to know your views. I want to know your thoughts towards some of these subjects, or your feelings I would love to, even if you have something to add or maybe something to check out, I would love to be able to have that, to present that, go back and look. And I would love everyone to have that opportunity as well. Because, like I said, we're here to put it all on the table, so that we can truly seek, right? Truly do it the right way. You know, I think oftentimes we want to seek, but we want to do it our own way. Oftentimes we don't want to look at everything. We just want to look at oftentimes the things that we feel might get us there in the quickest way. But I think turning over every leaf or stone is well worth it. So make sure that you just leave your thoughts. Leave your thoughts. But yeah, so for that first topic, man, when on Trump. So how do we feel about Trump and why? And you can sum it up, keep it brief, you know, or hey, if you want to rant, you know that's fine. I get that too. You know, we have a lot of feelings, and some of you all are really into the political side of it, so you know a lot of these different things that are going on and changes. So I would love to hear that. So definitely, that's the first one we gonna hit on. Um, I could tell you how I feel. You know, I feel that Trump truly speaks for where we are as people today. Trump truly speaks for where America is today. I mean, the moment he ran for presidency, the fact that he was able to run already told me from the beginning that we were moving in a direction that wasn't good and that society was moving in a direction that wasn't good. Um, and it was a very scary thing. And I think we find ourselves in the midst of it. And I know that some people voted for Trump, and you know you had your reasons. Um, People didn't vote for Trump, and they had their reasons. Um, but I think realistically looking at it and breaking it down, you know who that man was, right? So, like I said before, like I like to say, because I'm a believer, and you know I do believe in God and His ordination, but through Scripture, um, you know, it just says that um, you could tell a tree by its fruit. And to me, that's just such a big thing, and anyone can really use that. You don't have to be a believer. I'm just giving it to you and how I know it. Um, because somebody, we can say we're all these different things, and we know these politicians, right? We know they always selling something, right? It's become a salesmanship. Everything has become a salesmanship, right? So they're selling themselves to us, and we allow them to sell themselves to us, and we allow them to re-navigate our thoughts and our minds on truth and all these different things. But just telling a tree by its fruit and seeing this man and knowing what he's done. This is before presidency. This is before he ran. Knowing who he was, knowing the things that he said, knowing how he carried himself, seeing everything that he's done, and then you go to the reality show. I can't even think about what it's called right now. I really can't think of what it's called. But you know, just going to the reality show, and just like I said, this man, like his character, has already been on display, and the fact that after we've seen all of that, we were still willing to give him an opportunity to run our country. Think about that. Think about that. I'm not saying, and if you didn't, you know, maybe you saw the same things. Why? I mean, I think all these candidates are up for trial. But just out of all of the picks, you know, I really don't understand how we landed there. Uh, but when we did, for me personally, um, I just really looked at America. I just really looked at America, and you know, after you know going through all everything that was already happening, um, in the black community and all the issues we were having with police brutality and killings, uh, it he just didn't seem like the one to be coming into that perspective. But I think that's also when we speak to an overlaying thing, right? Like like there has to be a bigger governmental. I know people don't want to talk about it. This ain't the subject for that. But when we talk about Illuminati, right? I'm gonna say it. You know, we talk about this governing frame over the world, and there has to be some type of governing frame over the world and connected things for these certain things to come to fruition like that. For him to become president, there's just no way that I can picture logically that we made that decision without in some way being coaxed or persuaded or brought to there. Because like I said, during that time and with all the tragedy and all the different things that was happening, you know, he definitely wasn't the pick that I felt naturally you would pick to fix it, right? Like if you need stitches, you're not gonna put a band-aid on it, right? Uh, and so just logically it made no sense. So how I feel about him, I do feel that he was put there for a reason. I'm just gonna be 100% honest that I feel that he was put there for a reason to do these things that he's doing, because there's an overall direction that an elite group is swaying the rest of the world, and we can see him already doing things that we've never seen. So that's how I feel about Trump. I don't really feel that he's a good man, but I'm not going to judge him. I think there's hope for everybody because as a child of God, I have to believe that. Right, anybody can be saved because I know I'm not the best person. I haven't been the best person. I haven't made the best decisions in my own life. To let alone turn around and judge someone else. I know you see my face because I'm like, I can't completely compare myself, but I can't also tear away from it because that's just the reality we live in. And so, I do pray that at some point, yeah, there is the salvation for him as a person in his mind. But if we see it unfold, we know we can already, the characteristics of narcissists, we see traits of psychological unstableness, and privilege, right? So, yeah, I don't believe that he was a good fit for America. I don't believe he's a good fit to run this country. And I do believe that it details a lot to speak about us as people and where we are today. Yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna keep it rolling. I got to keep it rolling. I don't want to keep rambling on the same thing. We got more questions on that. And but for my thing is, so if I'm trying to think, let me see. So if you do have faith in Trump and you pick Trump and you are a Trumper, right? With that, do you believe that he's gone too far? Like at any point, like, cause I know, sometimes we make a decision and then you realize it's a bad decision. I made plenty of them, right? You buy something and you got payments and you're like, man, I should have waited or something, right? So, so with that, is there a point right now where you believe he has gone too far? You know, uh, that's my question to you. Like I said, leave a comment or just meditate on it, right? Because unless we think about it and really put it in there, and we have to be real with it. Because sometimes we don't want to say we was wrong, and I think that's why we don't really come to a change as people. Because we don't come to that place where we're like, I'm wrong, and that's okay. I was wrong. I shouldn't have made that decision. But we have to, right? Like we have to because we're trying to get to this place, right? We're trying to cross the bridge, and we can't be putting down planks and pulling planks up. It's just not gonna work, and we're all in this together. So, but with that, do you believe that he's gone too far? And this question is for everybody, right? It is generally for everybody. Has he gone too far? And does he represent America and greatness? And does he represent America and greatness? Um, Yes, I believe he's gone too far. Obviously, you can hear you know what I'm saying. He's gone too far. Yeah, he's gone too far. You know, because when we look at it, from Ice, the Wall, uh, executive orders, things that he's just done overall. You know, I think it's just way too far. I think he doesn't follow suit. You know, and it's funny because we get asked to follow suit. When you go to work with your corporations and different things. You know, we get asked to follow suit, and here it is. He gets to go in here and really change the whole layout from beginning to end, from the beginning of his presidency to where we are now, and complete racism. I mean, things. I mean, I'm sorry, we have to just be honest. He's racist. Uh, his idea for America. You know, if we look at it, do we can you see everyone fitting in that box? And I know some people believe in this, and I'm not here to down anyone's view, but I think we're here because we're trying to be better. And I don't think that a mindset of me thinking I'm better than you or you thinking you're better than me, especially over color. I mean, come on. We all put on our pants the same. We all bleed. We all have an ending date. We all had a beginning date. We all come into the world the exact same. The only differences are the differences that man has put here and how man has decided to do it. So, just looking at it, he's gone way too far, and we've allowed him to go too far, and we've allowed him to do this. We look at what ICE has done, and then how it's put together. Who are really are these people that are doing this? The way they've been treating people, and the way that they're treating people and putting them in camps. And I'm not. For me, it's not like I can't not believe it because I do. It already has been happening, and things like this have been happening for a long time. And then even with the beginning of the wall, and just so it's like to me when you think even if you're trying to do something that's right, you still put in place the right way to do it. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's why I say he's put there for a reason. Because America was built as the land of the free, a growing place, obviously the youngest country of them all. But our history in a short time is dramatic, and but allow for free for all, and so people come here with that belief to be more, belief to have more, from coming from very poor countries or dictatorships, and and that's the fight for people to get here, right? Because some people like they're desperately trying to leave their situation. It's not just criminals and all that are coming here. We have criminals here. We have criminals in office. I mean, I'm just trying to just keep it real. Uh, and things are allowed. And for a situation like this, you're just looking at, you know, um, just hatred. You know what I mean? Like just pure hatred. Like, get them up out of here. This is for criminal. Like, there's no love for person in this project. And with the executive orders, him not like a child, you can't tell him no, and he finds his ways around it. And it's just like, how do we allow it? Any other president or most anybody else people would have fought for impeachment. You know, uh, the attack on the White House. That stuff. And act like he had no type of coaxive action in that. And I just think we just like let's just be real. Like let's just be real. Like yes, there's something wrong here, and if you feel that it's right, we have to ask yourself what's wrong with you that you feel that way. It's hating or disregarding other lives or anything. If that's okay, then why are we locking up murderers? Why are we locking locking up other people for the same thing that is being allowed to happen? The only difference is, excuse me, the routes they're taking is, you know, excuse me, let me get some water. I want to make y'all bear through that. But yeah, so the routes they're taking, the only thing it has a legal stamp on it. It's the only difference. I mean, we look at what happened with the lady who was killed. I can't think of her name. Please forgive me. I really didn't think I was going to bring all this into the topic. I should have. You know, she deserves to be recognized. Um, but you know that, you know, and a white lady, Caucasian, and when it happened to her, you know, that's when it was like the system had gone wrong, and it took it to get to that point to realize that this system had gone wrong, and we're not paying attention to that this was already happening to the individuals and people who they were getting and gathering and breaking apart from their homes and separating the children and putting in camps and, you know, I'm sure feeding them improperly and everything else. So, um, you know, I just feel like it's just too far when you think about humanity. Like, who are we? And as Americans, and I get it. They sell you the patriotic view, but I mean, come on, does that represent real patriotism or bravery? Uh, Using brute force to round up little children and women and all that, walking around with the chests all out, and you know they just feel so entitled with these badges and things, and just truly highly disrespectful um, to this country in that aspect. The war, the stuff going on with the oil. Um, it's just like, well, there's an agenda here, and there has to be an agenda for this to proceed. But with that, I just want to say this. With that, I want to say that that's why the furnace is so important. Uh, Creating this space is so important because we need to be able to change our minds and perspectives and sit with these thoughts because this we have to take a stand. We have to take a stand in the ways that that we can. You know, even though we feel we're backs against the wall, but together we're unstoppable, right? Um, and it's worth that change. It's worth that change to analyze, you know, our decisions or what we're doing as a country, and how do we combat that, right? Um, and I don't believe, you know, that we can really truly sit here. And anybody can sit here. I mean, truthfully, I think people can say anything because I've been around people that can say anything, even when they know it's wrong. Because some people, and I believe, like Scripture says, is that you know they're just going to be those people who are dedicated to evil, that are just dedicated to darkness, right? To greed, lust, pride, all those different things that are just completely dedicated to it. So they're not gonna they're gonna say that it's wrong, you know. And some of us just have been raised that way and raised to believe that. And that's what I'm saying. Like sitting here right now is like checking that. And I think Trump gives us uh, an angle to look at. You know what I'm saying? Like we can kind of just do this, grab it, pull it in, boom, look, this is where we are as America. Does this really make sense? Is this where we should be? I'm not saying that there isn't anything things that hadn't needed to be changed. But if we wanted to make America great again, why didn't we start with homelessness first? Why didn't we start with our brothers and sisters who are without and starving in the greatest country in the world? Why didn't we start there? Think about that. Think about that. It's because we've been bred not to care. And even some of us who aren't, don't have money and aren't there, don't been bred not to care because we're put into this dog eat dog world, compete, go to work, blah, blah, blah. Just keep you so preoccupied that you can't even be a human being. And so that's the challenge. The challenge is to really sit here, look at it and say, is this right? Have we gone too far? And that's from when I'm questioning over Trump and ourselves. Does he make America great again? Do you? Do I? We're all representations, of our where we're from in our country. So when we look at it, we can see, we should be able to see a lot of, you know, the same way they want to see a child and take it out on the home. Even though, hey, like I said, you can't do that with every child, but a lot of it you can, for the most part. So this is our home. So this is our home. So look at yourself. But I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on. That's my perspective. Leave your comment. Leave your thoughts. Because, like I said, I would love to hear it because I wouldn't really know the way you completely feel or the way you completely think or how you got there and where you are, right? So this is just getting it hot. This is just turning them coals and getting it burning because that's what we got to do. Um, and the next question I had was, is Trump's actions justified? And I think I hit that already with no. But if you do believe so, why? Why? If you believe the things that he has done as a president are okay, why? And I'm asking for true enlightenment, not ignorance, right? So if someone leaves a comment, I don't want to. If you already just a racist, no, you already know you've chosen your path of darkness. Stay in your lane. This ain't for you. But if you're someone who honestly feels something and just wants to express it, and just please leave a comment. Um, because obviously, I don't feel this justified. His actions. I don't believe there's anything there to justify it. I think sitting with it and trying to pick it apart and understand it, there was nothing there to justify besides seeing it for what it is. Um, but I have one more interesting question. One more interesting before we move on and move forward. Before we leave Trump alone, right? Sure, we'll be back at this subject at some point because I just think there is so much more deeper